discuss any of the specifics of the G L Henry Mayo campus expansion plan or any of its merits or deficits in the plan itself. I'm not totally prepared for this, so I'm going to read mostly. Sorry. A new environmental report was just released from this developer, and it should be treated as such. Specifically, under a state law designed to ensure full public participation, the public is granted a minimum 45-day public comment period. During this period, the city must provide complete written responses to all comments submitted by the public. After this time, the city can hear comments but has no obligation to respond. This is critical. In the city's history, the vast majority, if not all, new environmental reports received reviews that included at least one public hearing during this period, which the public could hear staff presentations on the new report and submit oral testimony. Although perhaps the most controversial project in city history, this appears to be the first which will not receive this privilege. The testimony that the city will respond to in writing is most critical to communication and disclosure, which is why California state law requires it. Closing this period without a public hearing not only breaks precedent, it defies common sense. For example, without hearing a staff presentation on this new report, how can the public understand or comment on all of the changes, clarifications, and corrections that were ordered at the last council hearing? How can we determine what has been changed and why they changed it? Understand their reasoning for these changes. These are not small matters. While much of the report is warmed over material, major changes have also occurred. For example, the conditional use permit under which this entire proposal was wrongly submitted has now been withdrawn and replaced entirely by the city's new master plan entitlement, an entitlement never before used in the city and barely understood by the public. How is the city justifying this change? Stripping zoning ordinances and California state environmental laws with a single resolution approved by the city. The public must hear this reasoning through a staff presentation to council and public. The public only gets 45 days to receive written, binding responses from the city. How can the public be forced to ask appropriate questions or raise relevant issues within the comment period if the city fails to meet this basic obligation? More to the point, why would the city withhold this? If not common sense, the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, requires by law that written and oral testimony receive equal weight. A precedent of this city is that a public hearing is always held to present the report and hear public testimony. Not doing so now is without precedent, and the law states that cities cannot abandon their precedent arbitrarily. That is happening today. By way of example, the G&L case is the city's first so-called master plan. A second master plan, the Master's College expansion, is being reviewed by the city now. Unlike G&L, the city went to time and expense of providing an extra specially noticed televised hearing for the specific reason of presenting staff analysis on the plan and taking public oral testimony. This testimony will receive written analysis and response in the final environmental report from Master's College, and it should. The new G&L environmental report must receive the same treatment the city is using right now on its other so-called master plan. The city also needs to practice what it preaches. Over the years, the city itself has asked for and received extended environmental comment time from other government agencies due to similar concerns. A partial list of such examples includes the Ellesmere Canyon landfill, the Valencia marketplace, and the Cimex mine. How can the city ask for respect and courtesy from others and not provide it in the same way to its own citizens? Other historic precedents have been broken by the city here also. Historically, all environmental reports are located in all public libraries in the city. This time, Candy Country and Newhall were excluded, which made access almost impossible for older reviewers in these areas. Again, why was precedent ignored in this case? Disabled people, people who speak but not read English, and everyone who wanted to hear the staff perspective on the environmental report before they finish their written testimony will all be shut out of the process if the city doesn't give us the extra time we're requesting. Being able to understand these important environmental reports never required that you know how to run a computer, own a computer, or be strong enough to sit in front of a computer terminal for 30 or 50 hours. Paper copies need to be made available to everyone who needs them or who asks for them. This did not happen. Instead, this is what we received. It's in the car. I will bring it. I actually have some very important stuff in the car. Let's see. Concerned community group leaders received a printed copy of the environmental report, which contained no environmental components at all. Without explanation, the city included only the first 3 sections, which are a summary review and history of the project. Literally every environmental component was missing. We all know the history, so why would the environmental sections not be included? Although provided on CD-ROM, many SmartGrowth SCV steering committee members and other concerned residents are older and not computer literate. Is this now a requirement to understanding projects before our city council? Importantly, what we see is consistent with staff's behavior. This is consistent with our staff's ongoing and deliberate attempts to limit our public's legal rights in this project. And this is really important, and I want everybody to understand what happened. At the city's last council hearing on this topic, the city attorney's office stood before the council and explained that the public would receive a limited 30-day review of the environmental report we have today. Such a drastic limitation of public review requires approval by the state of California, an approval which they said they had from the state. We now have written evidence from the only office that approved such requests that this request was not only never approved, it was never even applied for from the appropriate state office. The implications of this are enormous. In conclusion, in a project so mired in controversy, apparent collusion on multiple levels, and jaw-dropping monetary grants from this office developer to city council campaigns, citizens deserve a full explanation of all the facts and changes in this plan, now in its final review. It is time for this city to provide appropriate review and the public's legal right of due process on this project. Most importantly, it is time for our leaders to obey the law and protect their public that they serve. We have asked for the city to reopen the public comment period by 5 p.m. today to remedy this deliberate sabotage of due process, allowing an additional 45 days for public comments to which they must respond in writing. We also want a full public hearing within that time frame, and one is presently scheduled on September 9th. A public hearing must be held, the residents must be heard, and the appropriate opportunity to understand and respond to this important project must be granted. Thank you.